Let's talk about teaching young children coping skills. And I believe, now this is my opinion, that we should have mandatory curriculum of teaching coping skills in elementary school, in pre-K all the way to 6th grade, or whatever elementary school is in your community. Too often, young children are not taught coping skills. Coping skills are, for the most part, a learned behavior. So what you witness growing up, that's your foundation for how you're going to cope. So if your coping skills for dinner being late, somebody having a bad day, somebody breaking something, can't find the remote, well, in some families, that's screaming and yelling. Somebody's going to be hit, kicked, punched, sent to their room, things thrown at them. And for that child, that's their coping skill. Because for them, well, in my family, this is how we cope. Well, honey, that's not normal. But it is to them. It is to that child. So you get that child in school, they're faced with conflict, they're going to act out. Because that's all they know, is to act out. Children need to be taught how to grieve. That sometimes pets run away, pets die, friends move, elderly family members pass, bad things happen. And it's okay to feel whatever you feel. Talk about how you feel, write down, do puppets, whatever it takes to express how you feel, it's okay. Because too often, children are ignored during times of grief. The adults are grieving, the kids are told to go to their room. Go play. You wouldn't understand. Yeah, they understand more than you think. Teach them how to grieve, that it's okay to mourn a loss. Let them express how they feel. Teach your child how to lose gracefully. Everybody wants to win. Well, not everybody can win. Teach them how to lose with grace and dignity. It's okay to lose. When they're, 3, 4 years old playing Candyland, okay, not everybody's going to win. They should not be allowed to throw the game, throw the pieces, scream and yell and have a tantrum if they don't win. The attitude should be, I'm glad you won, maybe I'll win next time. That's how it should be, not the tantrums. Because when they're in school and they're, they lose at dodgeball or softball or whatever the games are that they play in school nowadays, you don't want your child throwing a tantrum and hitting and kicking at somebody. Teach them about sharing. A lot of people don't. For a lot of kids, it's mine. Well, I want to borrow it. No, it's mine. You can share. Sharing is okay. And these are things that for many of us, well, of course we're taught that. But for many children, they're not. They have no idea. So they get into school, and that's where the conflict starts. When they are faced with these issues, they act out. When they're faced with conflict or chaos, the tantrums come in. The hitting, the kicking, the biting, the screaming, the yelling. Maybe they have parents that are perfectionists, that everything has to be perfect. Maybe a parent has, obsessive compulsive disorder. Everything has to be perfect. Well, for that child, they're going to do something over and over and over and over and over, trying to get that parent's love and affection, and they may never get it. Let them know it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay. I have seen kids sit and cry because they had eraser marks on a paper. It's okay. It's really okay. We can rewrite it. We can turn it in just like it is. It's okay. And then you have a parent that's just having a fit because they want perfection. It's a child. Let a child be a child. Don't come down too hard on them. Don't drive your child crazy. I have seen children who took a test and got a B+, which is really good. but not for that family. If it isn't an A, it's an F. That's not fair. That's not fair to the child. Teach your children how to cope. They don't have to be perfect. They're kids. It's okay. Allow your child to be who they are, to express themselves, to feel whatever they want to feel. Teach them how to cope. Because if you think it's a problem when they're 5 and 6, it's going to be a bigger problem when they're 12 and 13. It's going to be an even bigger problem when they're 16 and 17. Because then they have a little bit more power behind them. It's not, throwing pillows and having a tantrum. It might be breaking things. It might be hurting someone. Hopefully it's not picking up a weapon. Hopefully they're not turning to drugs and alcohol. But it's a reality, and we all know that. So teach your children how to cope. That you don't have to go, when you get frustrated, you don't have to go to violence. You don't have to go to drugs and alcohol. Just because mom or dad or whoever would get upset and drink doesn't mean that you have to. There are better ways to cope. There really are. Let's teach them those coping skills. So by the time they get into college, and we all know, we can all remember how, that is a very stressful time. Many kids are away from home for the first time. They may have been a bit of a big fish in a small pond in high school. You get to college, it's the other way around. You're a very small fish in a very big ocean. And that's hard for a lot of people. That's really, really hard. So they need to know how to cope with failure. They may have been an A student all through high school, and they get to college and it's a whole new ball game. And that's really hard for them. That's really, really hard. They may start slacking off, giving up on themselves, thinking they're not good enough. Let's teach them that they are. Teach them good coping skills early on. I think it should be mandatory, like I said earlier, in elementary school. And then have one class each semester in junior high, middle school, junior high, and high school that you have to have. You have to take the class on coping skills, age-appropriate coping skills. I think it would do a lot of kids a lot of good. Let's nip the problem in the bud before it becomes a catastrophe. Let's teach kids how to cope, how to feel, how to deal with everything they're feeling and thinking, so that by the time they're 13, 14, 15 and older, they're not hostile, angry young people. We can make a difference. We just have to be willing to do it.